Hi everyone, it's Kayla. So for my final project, I chose to go the route of writing a research paper. I'm choosing this because I know that my thesis is coming up pretty quickly in a few semesters here, and I'm wanting to challenge myself to write a little bit longer this time. The topic that I chose to write about is something I had kind of brought up during one of our discussions in this semester. It was during our film unit discussion that we had, in which I kind of focused on Ex Machina and creation stories. So I am doing a continuation of that. My paper, first and foremost, is going to focus on kind of a history of creation first, just to kind of get some background of it and kind of where I'm leading this on this discussion of creators. So I'm going to aim to explore the history of creation and as well as how it has affected people. For example, I will briefly look at some of the creation stories that are most well known to us today and some that we kind of know about really well. So, first and foremost, that'll be this idea of a single God creating Adam and Eve. And I also want to consider the creations or people and how they viewed their gods. So, kind of maybe how Adam and Eve did, but more notably, how people who practice these religions today view that God as well. And so, kind of trying to answer is is it a kind God, powerful? How is this power used? Is it for good or evil? So, focusing on that. I also kind of want to delve a little bit into possibly like Greek and Roman mythology too, just because those are some very famous religions and kind of getting perspectives from different places as well. I think will be important. Um, After kind of focusing on this background of religion and kind of facts of it today, then I'm going to start bringing it into the science fiction as well as the cyberpunk literature and films that we have seen. So I first plan on kind of looking at this idea of creation and religion as it leads into the creation stories that we have experienced throughout the semester. But I'm going to put a focus a little bit on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I think when you talk about creation and literature and science fiction, it's really hard to avoid that. And it is just a great story. So with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, as most of us hopefully probably know, you've got Frankenstein who created his creature, his monster. So it's referred to in many different ways. A lot of people kind of view Shelley's Frankenstein as one of the first science fiction stories. And I think just because it does deal with the human becoming the creator is very relevant. So focusing on that and kind of Frankenstein and this character and how he is a creator, like what his motive was, which a lot of I will likely focus on that it was curiosity is a big reason why he created his creature. He didn't really take responsibility for the creature. He didn't kind of think of the outcomes that would happen. So thinking on that as well, and also kind of I would love to take a look at the creature and how he views his creation and kind of the relationship that they have, which definitely is not a very functional relationship, and kind of looking at that and aspects that go along with that as well. After this, kind of going into science fiction, it's kind of more chronological. I will then have a very heavy focus on kind of more topic related to what we've been studying this semester. So then I'm going to go into creation from just like the first creation stories to first science fiction creation for humans into kind of what we see now today. I am going to have a heavy focus on Ex Machina, which is a film that I really enjoyed this semester, and I'm going to take a look at the creation that we see there. So this Nathan, who created Ava. I will take a look at their relationship as well. So, creator and the creation. I think they really have an interesting dynamic as well, that can be compared to Frankenstein and also creation stories that we've seen in the past. With this, I'm also wanting to put some focus on Blade Runner, maybe a little bit both of the Blade Runner movies, but also a big focus on Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, who wrote which that novel was the inspiration for the Blade Runner films. I think that's hard to avoid, and it really also deals with these creations and how they grapple with their existence and kind of their relationship with their creators and people today, which I think is just really interesting. I haven't quite got as far as like what my exact thesis will be. I usually come up with that kind of as I go through and explore my writings and as I go through them. But I do believe I kind of will come across this whole like people be like humans becoming the creator just out of curiosity. I mean, most of us grow up hearing about these gods, which are so powerful, and I mean, they're able to do anything, they can create things. Also, with us just being conscious beings and conscious people, it's natural to be curious about that. And I think it's just gotten to a point where we've gotten curious about the creators that, you know, created us, if that's what you believe, or created these characters. And just what that would look like if people became the creators. So that's really what I am planning for my paper. It's kind of a lot. I'm struggling to organize it right now, but I think it'll get there, and I'm really excited about it. And I definitely think, like I said, a big challenge of mine is trying to write more, just kind of get these lengthier papers for more practice for my thesis, and just also academic writings in general. But that's essentially what my paper will be about, and thank you for listening.